Hello, friends. A woodcutter was cutting down trees one day when suddenly his axe flew out of its handle and fell into a deep river. It was too heavy for him to reach the bottom where it had sunk, so he took off his heavy load of wood and tried to fish it out. But it was all in vain, and after much ado, he had to return home empty-handed. On his way, he met an old man who asked him what was wrong. The woodcutter told him about his loss and how he could not retrieve his axe. "I am going home," said the woodcutter, "and I shall have to tell my wife that I have done no work today. She will get angry, and our children will go hungry." "Don't be blue," said the old man. "Here is some money. Go buy something to eat." Then he walked away. The woodcutter followed him and saw that he was very old and bent. So he said, "Hey, old man, wait a minute. I want to ask you something." "What do you want to ask?" "If you are so old and weak, how can you support yourself? How do you manage your daily affairs?" "Because I have friends," the old man replied. "Friends who come to my aid whenever I need them." "Where can I find such friends?" asked the woodcutter. "They are in the river," the old man answered. The woodcutter thanked him and ran back to the river. He jumped into the water and swam to the place where he had lost his axe. There he began to make a lot of noise. "Oh, please help me," he shouted. "Help me to pick up my axe from the bottom of the river. I am poor, and my family is waiting for food. If I don't bring them something, they will starve." Then a beautiful woman came swimming towards him and said, "Why are you making so much noise?" The woodcutter told her his woes and begged her to help him. Touched by his sad tale, she dived to the bottom and brought up 2 golden axes. "Take these, poor man," she said. "They are worth a lot of money. With this, you can feed your children for years together." The woodcutter looked at the axes and said, "No, I'm sorry, but these are not mine. These are yours. You brought them from the bottom of the river, and you must take them back." The woman was surprised to hear this. She asked him again, "Are you sure you don't want these axes? They would mean freedom from poverty for you and your family." The woodcutter shook his head. "These are not my axes," he said. "You must take them back." And the woman returned to the river. A little while later, she came back with 2 silver axes and asked him to accept them. Again, the woodcutter refused and asked her to take them back. This happened 3 times. Then the woman got angry and asked him sharply, "So, you don't want anything from me?" "Yes, I do," said the woodcutter. "Bring me my own axe." The woman thought she had been tricked, but keeping her word, she went to the river for the 4th time. This time she brought an ordinary axe, which was just like the one the woodcutter had lost. Overjoyed, he took it and thanked her. "I kept my word, didn't I?" he said with a smile. "You did," she said, "and I promise to give you a reward. What would you like?" 2 palaces, one for you and your wife, or mountains of gold and heaps of precious gems?" The woodcutter thought for a moment. "I thank you for your offer, but I already have a house and all the money I need. My only regret is that I have no son. Would you give me a magic ring instead that will summon you whenever I need you?" The woman agreed. She gave him a ring and disappeared in a flash of light. From then on, the woodcutter became the happiest man in the world. Every morning he went to the forest to cut wood. And whenever he tired himself out, he put on the ring, and the woman appeared before him like magic. She would cut the wood for him. In this way, the woodcutter spent many happy days. One day, however, the king's men came to the forest to collect wood for the royal hearth. When they saw the woodcutter resting under a tree, they surrounded him and said, "You are under arrest, sir, for stealing the king's timber." Then they took him to the king, who was sitting on his throne. When the woodcutter told the king that he had merely been cutting wood for his own use, the king burst into laughter and said, "You are a liar! You were caught red-handed. You will have to prove your innocence, or else face the consequences." The woodcutter felt disheartened, but suddenly he remembered the magic ring. He put it on and called upon the woman for help. She appeared immediately and said to the king, "Is there anything I can do for you?" "You are summoned here as a witness," said the woodcutter. "This lady has been cutting wood for me every day, and I swear to you that I have never stolen the king's timber." The king looked at the woman and said, "Very well, we shall leave now. Come with us if you would like to clear this misunderstanding." At the palace, the woman repeated the same statement in front of everyone. "I have been cutting wood for this man every day. He has never stolen the king's timber." Then the king said to the woodcutter, "I believe you. Forgive me for accusing you." And he ordered that the woodcutter should be set free. From that day on, the woodcutter lived happily ever after. His sons grew up to become brave young men and served the kingdom with distinction. Many years passed. One day the king fell seriously ill, and no medicine seemed to work. His doctors were puzzled and worried. They knew that only a magical herb growing deep in the forest could save the king. But it was dangerous to go there, because wild beasts roamed the forest, and it was almost impossible to get to the plant without being injured. As a last resort, the king summoned the old woodcutter. He told him about the herb and asked him to bring it. The old man accepted the task, but the woodcutter was afraid to make the journey alone. So he put on the magic ring and called the woman for help. She appeared instantly and accompanied the woodcutter to the forest. After walking a while, they heard the sound of drums and the roar of lions. A ferocious lioness was blocking their way. The woodcutter was scared, but the woman stepped forward. She changed into a lioness herself and fought with the beast. After a fierce battle, she pinned the wild lioness to the ground and roared, "Submit yourself to me, and you shall be spared." The lioness surrendered and swore to be her servant forever. Then the woman changed back into her human form, and the woodcutter continued on his way. Soon they reached a lake guarded by a terrible dragon. Once again, the woman proved her superiority over the monster and forced it to bow before her. Thus, the two friends were able to cross the lake. In the end, they found the magical herb and returned to the city. The woodcutter gave it to the king's men, and they prepared a tonic with it. The king drank it and recovered quickly. He rewarded the woodcutter handsomely and sent him home. Before leaving, the king said to the old man, "You have proven yourself to be loyal and honest. Your honesty saved you from certain death and won you great riches. Be proud of yourself. And friends, this is the story of the honest woodcutter." Why was the woodcutter rewarded for his honesty? That's right, he was rewarded for his honesty. No matter what trouble he faced, he never compromised on his honesty. And that's why he got the woman's help. And ultimately, he was saved from death and became rich. If we want to live happily in life, we must learn to be honest. That is the lesson of this story. Now tell me, What did you like best about this story? Tell me in the comments section. And friends, if you liked this story, then subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you can get all my new stories.